Hey, boys and girls, welcome to Fractions, pages 291 to 292. This is lesson 10.8 on subtracting fractions. Okay, so before we start, put your pencil down. Follow along with me. Here we go. All right, so let's say, here's my story. Are you ready? We are at Grandpa's birthday party, and Mom baked a chocolate pie for Grandpa's birthday dinner. So here's our chocolate pie and like the little whipped cream blobs on the pie. It's amazing. I know it looks delicious. And so Mom cut the pie into 8 pieces. Do you see it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those will be like little chocolate chips on there. Okay. And then she cut them into 8 pieces. She served each adult and a piece. So that was 5 pieces. So let's say one adult ate this one. 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 1, 2, 3, 4. One adult ate this one. Then she served 2 pieces to each of the 1 piece to each of the kids, and there was 2 kids. How much did Mom have left for herself? Okay, so if we see there was the 5 adults, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus the 2 kids, 6, 7. How much do we have left for Mom? We had 1/8 of the pie. See, there it is. Now let's look at that from a math standpoint. So we did 5/8, because remember there's 8 slices, so 8 goes in the denominator and 5 goes in the numerator, plus the 2 slices for the kids equals how many eighths did everybody eat? Okay, there's 7/8 that everybody ate. But how many 8s were there to start with? 8 out of 8, that's 1 whole pie. Okay, minus 7/8. Let's see how much Mom had left over. Minus 7/8 equals 1/8. Did you notice the same reason we love adding fractions is the same reason we love subtracting fractions? Because look at this. The denominator stays the same. It's the same pie with the same 8 slices total. The denominator stays the same. This is amazing. So you're just really doing simple addition and subtraction with the numerator. That's it. Do you see right here that 5 plus 2 equals 7. That's how many pieces got eaten. And then if you want to see how much was left over for Mom, the leftover is subtraction. So we do 8 minus 7 equals 1. Okay, so the only thing that you're going to add and subtract is the numerator, the top number. Okay, so this is pretty easy peasy. Now what we're going to do is we are going to open our math books to page 291 and do this together. Okay, let's read it. For an experiment, the boys filled a set of 3 flasks. If 1/3 of the flasks were used, what is the fraction not used? So what is the fraction not used? That's what is left over. That shows it's subtraction, boys and girls. Okay, so let's look. To subtract, right here, to subtract fractions with the same denominators, subtract the numerators. We just looked at that. The denominator stays the same. Yay! So what did we do? 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 3/3. 1/3 of the flasks were used. So subtract the numerator. Hold on. Let's look at this one first, actually. So subtract the numerator. So we have 3 flasks and 1/3 of the flasks were used. So this represents our 3 flasks. 1, 2, 3. And 1/3 of them were used. Okay. Now, I would actually not probably draw this as a fraction. If I were creating this book, remember how we had the gummy bears, or we had, we can do fractions out of a set. Like if you're doing Easter eggs, right? You can see how many of the whole were used. I would actually do 1 out of 3. This is still a fraction. And how many were used? 2 out of the 3. 2 out of 3. Is it the same thing? Yes. What's left over? How many were not, sorry, 1/3 were used. So this will be the used one. How many were not used? 2/3. Okay, does it show it right here? 3/3, that's 3 out of 3, minus the 1/3 that were used. How many were not used? 2/3. 3 minus 1, 3 minus 1 equals 2. Do you see it? That's the numerator. The denominator stays the same. Okay. This is just a review. This is not for the question we just did. This is just showing you a reminder of the difference between subtraction and division. I'm sorry, addition and subtraction. So we have, they're just showing you, same as we did on the other page. Denominator stays the same. So if we have 2/3 plus 1/3, 2/3 plus 1/3 equals 3/3. Okay? Subtraction, 3/3 minus 1/3 equals 2/3. Boys and girls, do you know that 2 minus 1 equals 3? Yes, you do. Do you know that 3 minus 1 equals 2? Yes, you do. So this should be easy peasy lemon squeezy for you. Okay, so compare the two problems above. That's this one right here. What was different? Well, the numerators were different because one is plus and one was minus. What was the same? The denominators stay the same. Denominator. Okay, the denominator stays the same. All right. Here we go. I'm switching away from this orange. Subtract, mark the fraction you take away. Okay, here we go. You're going to mark the fraction you take away. Let's do it together. How much of the whole is shaded to start? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. That's how many are shaded out of how many parts in the whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 parts out of 5 are shaded. So what does that make our fraction? 4/5. Okay, so how much of the shaded part will you take away? It says you're taking away 3/5. So we had 4/5, just right here, and that matches. Minus 3/5 equals 1/5. Let's do that here. 4/5 minus 3/5. So we're going to take away 3. 1, 2, 3. Did we get the answer right? Does that leave us 1/5? Yes, and that matches right here. So how much of the shaded part will you take away? You'll take away 3/5. Now, I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls. On your test, fractions can also be written like this, 3/5. Okay, don't do that in your book. But when you see the answer on your test, it'll say, what did you get for answer number 2? And your answer will look like this in your book. But on the test, on Google Classroom, on the test, when you put in your answer, and it'll be marked as a fraction, it'll look like this sideways version. But that is the answer that's correct. I just want you to be familiar with that. Okay, how much of the shaded part is left? Okay, so how much of the shaded part is left? We already found that out. How much is left? 1/5. Okay, they're not talking about this part. Nope. They're saying how much of the shaded part is left. Okay, how much of the shaded part is left? Because remember, we're only considering if this is our number that we're starting with, that's the part that we're starting with. So the 4/5. Okay, let's look at this one. How much do we start with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're starting with 7/8. Okay, and we are going to take away 3/8. 1, 2, 3/8. So we have 7 minus 3 equals, well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we know that 7 minus 3 is 4? Yes. Does it match our picture? Yes. What does the denominator do? It stays the same. Okay, let's look at the next one. How many did we start with? We started with 5/6. We have 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 parts out of 6 total parts. Do you see it? And we are going to take away one of those. Minus 1. How many parts are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4. And does 5 minus 4 equal 1? I'm sorry, 5 minus 1 equal 4? Yes. What about the denominator? It stays the same. Excellent. Move on. Now this part, don't be confused. 4 out of 4. All the shaded parts are there. Do you see it? So, can a whole be a fraction? Yes, this is just a sandwich cut into 4 pieces, but you have all 4 pieces. So, and nothing's missing. 4 out of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 out of 4 to start, minus 2 of those. Do you see it right there? We're going to take away 2. What do we have left? 1, 2. And do we know that 4 minus 2 is 2? Does that match? Yes. And the denominator stays the same. Excellent. Turn the page. Okay. I want you to pause the video. I want you to try this on your own. And then I want you to restart the video. Remember, all you're doing, I can tell you right now, I could go through without even doing any math. I can fill in all these denominators. I don't even have to look if they're plus or minus because I know that what? They stay the same. So right now, I'm filling them all in. Oops. Okay, denominators stay the same. And then all I'll need to do is subtract the numerators. So right now we know that these are all subtraction. Hopefully you did these on your own and now you're joining me to check your work. These are all subtraction. Watch out later, it might be addition and subtraction, so you're gonna have to pay a little bit more attention. But now we know it's all subtraction. So 8 minus 3 is 5. And the denominator stays the same. 7 minus 4 is, oops, I'm going to go down because this is actually number 6. 9 minus 5 is 4, and the denominator stays the same, 4/12. 6 minus 2 is 4, 4/7 because the denominator stays the same. 5 minus 2 is 3, so it's 3/9 because the denominator stays the same. Excellent. 7 minus 4 is 3, so that is 3/10 because the denominator stays the same. Excellent. 13 minus 5, some of you quick math, 8. 8/16 because the denominator stays the same. Excellent. 10 minus 8 is 2, so that is 2/15 because the denominator stays the same. 14 minus 11, ooh, that is 3/30. Tricky to say, try it. 3/30 because the denominator stays the same. You got it. 11 minus 1 is 10. So this is 11/12 minus 1/12 is 10/12 because the denominator stays the same. 9/3 minus 10/3. Well, 9 minus 3 is 6. So it's 6. Did I say 9/10? 9/10 minus 3/10 equals 6/10 because the denominator stays the same. All right. Next one, 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4 is 3. So that becomes 3/9 because the denominator stays the same. All right. One more to go in this section. 9 minus 6, 3. So that becomes 3/10 because the denominator stays the same. Who got all of these right? Who is happy that this is much easier than long division? If you got them right, put a big star at the top of your page. If you are still one of those who's not good at making a star, guess what? You could practice that right now. While you're home on quarantine, 2 things. Teach yourself how to draw a star, and make sure you know how to tie your shoes. Do not come to 4th grade still not knowing how to tie your shoes. Okay, if you don't have the ability to make a star, just make a big smiley face if you got all these right. Put it at the top of your page. Awesome. Here we go. This is what I mean, add or subtract. Now you really have to pay attention. The fun part is, guess what we know? The denominator still stays the same. I could do this right now because I know that the denominator stays the same. Denominator stays the same. Denominator stays the same. So now I'm going to double check and make sure I am doing the right thing on top. Double check. If you are doing this on your test, which is going to be lesson 10.13, 1013, double check, circle those if you need to. 5 plus 2 equals 7. So your answer is 7/8. 4 minus 1 equals 3. So your answer is 3/5. 3 minus 2 equals 1. So your answer is 1/4. Yay, moving on. Okay, let's scoot this in a little bit. Tabor cut a watermelon into 12 slices. He ate 2 slices and then served the remaining 10/12 of watermelon slices to his family's Bible study group. They ate 7/12 of the slices. How much of the watermelon was left over? Okay, boys and girls, I'm going to show this to you a couple ways because I want to make sure you actually know what's going on in your mind. Okay, so I'm just going to make it red because they're watermelon slices. Here's my 12 watermelon slices. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, he ate 2 slices. Now, does our fraction always have to be in a circle or a square? No. Can we have, remember our gummy bear packs? Could you have how many gummies or how many Skittles? You could do Skittles as fractions. They just have to be the exact same size. So I know my picture's not perfect, but in order for this to be a true fraction, they all have to be exactly the same. Okay, so let's assume that they are. Here's 12 exactly cut equal slices, and he ate 2. Yum, yum. Chomp, chomp. He served the remaining 10/12. Do you see it? There's 10/12 right here. To the Bible study. And they ate 7 of the remaining 10/12. Or 7 of the remaining 12. The 10/12, yes. So 7 out of 12 they ate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many were left over? Okay, I can tell you right now. It's 1, 2, 3. That's what I see with pictures, and I wanted you to see that before I did the next step. Okay, so now that you see it in your mind, I want you to see it with numbers. So here's our math equation. So the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to do 2 steps. You ready? We have, what's our first? We have 12 total slices, and he ate 2. Okay, and we know that there was 10/12 left over, and we see that right here. So there was 10/12 of the remaining watermelon slices fed to the Bible study group. Okay, they already told us that part. Now let's look at the math equation that we need to figure out the answer to the rest of the equation. They ate 7/12 of the remaining slices. So they ate 7/12. So we're going to take away another 7/12. And 10 minus 7 is 3. And the denominator stays the same. Did we get that? Does that match our picture that we did? Yes. How much of the watermelon was left over? Do not put 3. It's not 3. It's 3/12 of watermelon. Don't forget to label. If you wrote 3/12 of the slices, that's fine. But you still need a label word because it is a word problem. Alrighty. Multiplication. I'm going to do 1 as an example. And then I am going to, because I just want to make sure that you remember to carry and remember our steps. Remember, you multiply this way, the ones first, then the 10s, and then keep going. So for 7, you'd 7 times 1, 7 times 7, 7 times 7, 7 times 7, and then you add any carrying. So I'm going to erase that really quick. I'm going to do 1 with you. I'll make it there we go. We'll do the first one. You remember to, actually, I'll do the middle one with you. 7 times 7 is 49. Carry the 4. 7 times 7, 49 plus 4 more 53. Carry the 5. 7 times 7 is 49. Plus 5 more is 54. Don't forget your comma. It's 5,439. Okay, pause the video. I want you to finish this section and then unpause the video and check your answers. I'm not going to show the carrying. I'm just going to show the answers. So, because this is a review section. So if you have not paused it already, go ahead and do that. Okay, if you're listening right now, then you have unpaused the video because you have already done these and you're just checking your work. So here are the answers for this section. And if you did it wrong, you know what you need to do. Don't just erase it and copy the answer. Figure out what you did wrong. Because if you just copy the answer, you won't learn what you did wrong. Maybe you forgot to carry. Maybe you flip-flopped the 1s and the 10s and dropped the wrong thing down. Figure out what you need to do. Redo the problem and make the answer match. Do not just copy the answer because that doesn't help you learn and grow. If you got them all right, hooray. You can put a little heart by each one you got right. If not, go back and fix it, make it right, and then you should have all the hearts on your page too. All right, boys and girls, keep up the good work. I will